My first trip after COVID-19 restrictions were eased was a sweet one, full of first-time locations in Eastern Europe and the Middle East. So many new memories packed together on a bunch of memory cards now, waiting to be re-experienced all over again. In the coming weeks I will be back to publishing weekly videos again, but I will mainly post videos and shorts from this trip. My Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, all linked below, will also be full of new pictures from the countries I visited and experiences I had. I traveled from Indonesia, where I live, to Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia on the first day that quarantine requirements. I arrived around noon, so only 12 hours in. Would that be a problem or a little party? After a few days in Kuala Lumpur, I flew to Dubai, the city that people either love or really hate. Many say it's fake, but does that mean it shouldn't be a tourist destination? I flew there using a voucher I had with Emirates. I thought it would be a fitting trip and flight before traveling to Europe. From Dubai I flew to Paris because Amsterdam would be my regular airport into the European Union and I wanted to avoid that. But because of that I had to take 4 trains to actually get home, instead of just a single one. But this all worked out nicely and it's all relatively close, so I gave that a try. A few days later I finally got to fly from my hometown airport. Since this used to be a military base, it didn't used to have commercial flights. And when I left for Indonesia in 2006, it didn't have the number of flights it does now, not by a long shot. Poland was a first for me, even though it's just Germany in between. I traveled there on the national airline and continued my trip towards the southeast, up to some 50 kilometers from the border with Ukraine, to make a visit to the historical town of Zamość and a site with a particular horrific past. I was also able to visit the Majdanek concentration camp in the town of Lublin before I traveled back to Warsaw to take 2 flights and then hopping on board of the Nightjet Intercity Sleeper train from Vienna, Austria, all the way back to its final destination of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. After some catching up with family and taking a little rest from all the traveling, I took another flight with a regional airline to end up at London Heathrow Airport, of which you have probably heard horror stories of delays, cancelled flights and related problems. I just had to use that airport as an overnight stay though. It was the very next morning that I walked into one of the airport lounges for Star Alliance, waiting to board my first class flight with Singapore Airlines all the way back to Jakarta, with a 12-hour stopover in Singapore. Somewhere during booking this trip that sounded like a perfect idea, but was it really? Follow me on this 21-day trip across half the globe by following me here on YouTube now. Just hit that subscribe button and set the notifications so you receive them when I release a new video. Thank you for doing so and see you in a week's time for the first video in this series.